busted. Even Clinton's campaign manager revealed the truth about the dossier. This is big. Hillary Clinton, her spokesman Brian Fallon, John Podesta, and the Democrats are denying the fact that the DNC paid for the anti-Trump dossier. But today we have a different case. Her campaign manager Robbie Mook admitted that he knew that he was behind the hiring of the law firm, the Daily Caller reported. Clinton campaign manager Robbie Mook said Friday that he instructed the campaign's legal team to conduct the opposition research that led to the infamous anti-Trump dossier. In an interview with CNN's Anderson Cooper, Mook also suggested that he and others on the campaign were briefed on some of the findings in the dossier, which was compiled by former British intelligence officer Christopher Steele. Mook did say that he was not aware that Steele was involved in the opposition research. Okay, it says what he said, but let's take a listen. But again, Debbie Wasserman Schultz said she didn't know of anything. Clinton had denied it in the beginning. Now this, he's being the fool guy?
Were you aware that the Clinton campaign was at least in part funding it along with the DNC? But I'll only ask you about the Clinton campaign because the campaign chair, John Podesta, says he had no idea. I talked to Brian Fallon. He said he had no idea. I mean, it seems like nobody in the Clinton campaign has stood up and said, oh yeah, I knew this and I was the one who helped sign off on it.
Well, look, I didn't know that we were paying the contractor that created that document. I didn't. I'll tell you, what I did know, and that is that when we started to look into Donald Trump's business dealings, it was this massive tree of LLCs and shell companies. We were overwhelmed. We were out of our league on it, frankly. And so I asked our lawyer, and I gave him a budget allocation to investigate this, particularly the international aspect. My understanding is that Dossier is the product of not just research that was funded by our campaign, but also by Republican donors, and that they put that all together and gave that to the press.
Right. Jonathan Steele was hired, I guess, after the Republican people started it, dropped out, and once you guys were paying for it. But I mean, I know the dossier was something that was compiled later. Were you or other people in the campaign, or who in the campaign was seeing the memos that Jonathan Steele was putting out? I mean, you guys are paying for opposition research. You must have been seeing the fruits of that throughout the campaign, no?
Well, we were getting briefings that were put together by the law firm with information. I don't know.
They wouldn't say, we've hired this guy, Jonathan Steele, and he's got sources in Russia, and this is information in drips and drabs?
What I know is that...
Christopher Steele, sorry.
Yeah, well, what I've known is what I've read in the press, that I think $0.2 million that was spent on this overall project, and that I think it was like $120,000, some fraction of that went to this steel company. So I don't know who else contributed to these reports.
But were you seeing?
Packaged for us.
You must have been seeing. I mean, you're saying get briefings from the lawyer. You must have been seeing. What was it? A memo? 4 memos of now there's this interview and this person is saying this about the president's business dealings in Russia or this activity.
Well, when you're on a campaign, you have a strategic team. And you come together and go over all this information. So our internal team was presenting information, our lawyer was presenting information, and we sort of learned things in pieces. I just can't attribute to you what piece of information came to us at what time or where it came from, frankly. As campaign manager, there's a lot going on, and so I just wanted to know what was important to find out.
Okay, just finally, is there somebody at the DNC, I mean, you were the campaign manager, is there somebody at the DNC, maybe at a slightly lower level, who knew about Christopher Steele? Who didn't just know, okay, yeah, we're paying this lawyer, and all of a sudden, magically, this information is coming back to us, who actually knew the nuts and bolts of who was gathering the information, how it was being gathered?
I don't know the answer to that. It's possible someone at the DNC knew about this. We had dozens of researchers on the campaign. In fact, one of the reasons we were trying to get resources into the DNC was to make sure that they had a lot of opposition researchers working on all these Republicans. So I unfortunately don't know the answer.
And to those who say, that this could have been some sort of collusion, if Christopher Steele is being fed disinformation from people who had
Notice
connections
the
to the Russian
smiles.
government that essentially your campaign was helping pay for some of that disinformation?
Well, look, they chose what to put in that dossier, and so I can't speak to that. I'm proud that we were able to assemble some of the research that has brought this to light. Because, I mean, Anderson, you have to remember, I went on television the first day of the convention. My colleagues were on television saying something's wrong with Russia. Russia hacked the DNC. Russia, when John Podesta was hacked, Russia hacked John Podesta. And
Russia, Russia, who's dealing with the Russians? They were dealing with the Russians.
It didn't get a lot of attention, and I'm just glad that it's coming out now. I'm glad that there was research there. I can't speak to what Fusion was doing, but I'm just glad that we're paying attention to this now, and frankly, I wish we paid more attention.
Yeah, frankly, I wish that this would have came out sooner so you can go to jail sooner. And now that he's saying that he knew about all of this, this is against the law what they were doing. Well, but just like Clinton, she's going to find a lot of fall guys in the process. John Podesta was hacked by the Russians? Are you kidding me? What a joke. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.